Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
There we go.
Okay.
I think it's this button here will be the next slide.
This one.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Hi. Thank you for the intro. I do have notes with me. I wasn't going to rely on them, however, I might refer to them. Okay, so my name is Karlene and I am a real estate agent. So I started my career in marketing, and after some time working in media planning, I decided that I wanted to pivot and I retrained to become a teacher. So that was me for a little while. And then as my kids got older and they were in school, I was feeling like I needed a challenge. And I decided to venture back into business. Thank you. So I retrained and became a real estate agent. I hate door knocking. I could not think of anything worse, and I actually think it's really unprofessional. However, I did need to find a way to foster a community and connect with people in my community. So I sort of decided to draw on something that I do feel passionate about, and that is female entrepreneurship. So what I started doing was I created networking community events up on the Hibiscus Coast where I live. And I featured many local women who work in business, sharing their stories in business, the way they've triumphed and overcome adversity and navigated their way. And the way I came about this was because myself, being a woman in business, I was sort of trying to work my way through those things also. So I thought that giving women a platform to shine and share and connect and form a community would be something that that I guess I could cherish and get back from as well. So it felt like something that I wanted to do. Click. Okay. So these are just some of the speakers that I've featured up on the coast. Half of them are probably sitting here, which is really cool. So we've had Michelle with her beautiful charity, sort of connecting children of the world through education and art and narratives. And Claire, who isn't here, but she's sort of fostered a sense of community through knitting and sort of closing the gap and easing loneliness, especially in the elderly. I'll just turn my page. Another speaker we had was Michelle Keating from Kiki K. She's a good friend and she's really inspirational. So she shared her story on her journey in business and on the importance of conquering those mountains and just getting it done. So she facilitates groups as well through KKK and the stationery line. So supporting what I'm actually doing in the community with the networking groups, I also back this up with a Facebook group. So in the Facebook group, I share things on sort of not only business tips, but things on healthy living as well, because it's all really a balancing act. And I'm fairly confident that whatever I'm struggling with, most other women in business are struggling with also. So at the beginning, I mentioned my previous careers, which were marketing and teaching. I really do feel that in running these community events, I'm drawing on my experience in both those fields. So I need marketing in order to promote the events, and I'm drawing on my teaching because I really love facilitating people's learning. I really, that's something that I get a lot out of personally. Oh, okay, so another event that that my good friend Amy and I ran a couple of years back was the Dream Girl documentary. So if you're familiar with this, you'll know that it showcases inspirational women in business, and it was actually a documentary that showcased at the White House. The funny thing is, or the interesting thing is, that a lot of the, I guess you'd say, characteristics or the stories that feature in this documentary are things that I see in the everyday woman on the coast that I'm getting to shine in their stories in my events. So, oh, thank you. So, these women have had a light shine on them, but I think really it's just stories that we're all facing every day. Okay, so when Pauli contacted me, she asked me to give some tips on how I'm managing to connect with people online. So on Instagram, it's not about the numbers. I think it's more about the connection. So the following I have, it's not gigantic, like it's not in the hundreds of thousands, but they're all real people. And which I think is fairly important because you can have real conversations, and it's not just always in the posts, but it's in the DMs and the support and the stuff that goes on in the background. So lots of experts can suggest, lots of various platforms, but Instagram is something that works for me. So I just think it's all about finding something that fits well and feels authentic to you. So what I'm finding that works well for me is sharing more of myself, not just professionally, but personally as well. So some examples of that could be, oh my gosh, I'm down to 20 seconds. Some examples of that could be if I'm having a really full day with back-to-back client meetings, I'll talk about that, and I'll talk about maybe how I manage my stress. And that's something that everybody can relate to. If I, or I might talk about the benefits of my job. So my job is real estate. However, the benefit or the main benefit to me is the flexible hours because I'm a single mum of 2. So to me, that's super important, having flexibility. I love nothing more than people interacting with my Instagram stories. So the way that I generate that is mainly through polls, questions, stickers and things like that. So all those extra little bits that you can add into your Instagram stories, I suggest you do that because that's how you get the DMs and you get the communication coming in. And it makes it more fun. Be consistent. I post every day, or just about every day. I think that if you're a business, it's important to build trust and people get used to seeing you pop up in their feed. Another thing I do is on a Wednesday, I do what I call a Work With Me Wednesday. So I pretty much document my entire day in Instagram stories. So yeah, you'll see me eat breakfast and see my crazy hair in the mornings and whatever. But I think people appreciate the fact that it's real, and they also get to see the behind the scenes stuff that you wouldn't often get to do. For example, I guess last Wednesday my son was actually homesick, and I had he was playing, Minecraft. So my day was basically set up in front of his Minecraft screen. But that's okay, that's what it is sometimes. One thing that I did struggle with initially was sharing pictures of myself, like posting myself quite often on Instagram. And the reason I struggled with that was because I didn't want to appear to be egocentric, because I'm not. But what I did learn from doing that was that I got way more engagement. And I think that's because people like seeing people. We're just really curious about one another. And and when you do post to Instagram, I always try and pose a question at the end, because, and people might not always answer, but that's okay, because you've actually provided the opportunity. So you're opening up communication lines. So having said all that, and as Colette pointed out at the outset, I think that everybody does have something to share. And I think it just all comes down to finding what you're passionate about. So I'm passionate about female entrepreneurship and supporting that within my community up on the coast. I'll leave you with one last thought. Yeah, that's it. Be a little bit more you and a lot less them. Thank you.